Hello. Sorry to have left you guys hanging. I'm just going to give you guys a preface now. There may be crying in this episode. I wanted to talk to you guys, but like, life is very emotional right now. I am working on being more consistent. It's just, life has been the pits lately. There's no better way to describe it. It has been the pits. My name is The Natural Needler, and you can find me across social media as The Natural Needler or just simply Natural Needler. And I have a website at thenaturalneedler.com where I will have show notes, and I will do my best to put some adequate notes in the details of the show eventually. So, yeah, you can find me across social media and on the website. For anything else, I should have links there. Welcome to the channel. Thanks for coming back and watching. And for those of you who are new, hello, welcome. I'm glad to see you guys. I just have to tell you that this episode might be slightly a bummer if it's your first episode. Crying. I might be a huge Debbie Downer this week. And I'm sorry, it's just the way the cookie crumbles. I have the most ridiculous sayings. I'm sorry. I'll just give you a little bit of what's going on with me. So that on the forum, I talked about my mother-in-law being ill, like suddenly. It was just last episode I was cutting a side eye to the camera saying that my house guest was driving me crazy. Well, my house guest was my mother-in-law, and she has passed away. She stayed about a week with me and my family, and we had a wonderful time. We had so much fun. She got time with the grandbabies. She was so present with them, playing with them, down on the floor doing puzzles, reading books, never getting tired, So, it was a wonderful last visit, In hindsight, you just take it for granted that you'll see them the next time, and it just wasn't the case this time. She had been battling what she thought was just like the crud, like everybody has had this winter. Everybody's had the flu, everybody's had a cold. Well, she had the flu and pneumonia and already had some type of infections in her body prior to that. Ended up having also, what is it called? I'm drawing a blank. She ended up going into septic shock with all the different viruses that she had in her system. And then the septic shock gave her a heart attack, and after the heart attack, she was not able to recover. So, just like a blink of an eye, she is gone. And this is a woman. I've been married to my husband. I don't even have the energy to do the math. I've been married to him since 2003, but we started dating in 1998, and I met his mom probably in 1996 or 97. I met her at church, and she was like my youth group leader, not leader because that would be a pastor. What was she? We did like these little groups, small groups, and she was a small group leader for the girls. And she's the one who actually introduced me to her son. I still can remember to this day her saying to me, I have a son. Actually, she had 4 sons, but she had one son in particular in mind. And I remember her saying, I have a son, you should ask him out. And I was just thinking, okay. Little did I know that it was the guy that was bebopping around in our youth group. And, I kind of had like a love-hate relationship with him. He thought he was like all that or whatever. And I was just kind of like, this guy, he's, and the rest is history. But yeah, I still remember being in a small group and us wrapping up, and afterwards her saying, I have a son, you should ask him out on a date. You guys would, really like each other or whatever. And she was right. I mean, she threw me my 18th birthday party. And something else about this woman. So my biological mother passed away from cancer when I was almost 7 years old. And I had some complications with the women in my family, like with relationships with the women in my family. You know, it just wasn't always easy, you know. And I met her, like I said, when I was 16, 17 years old. And she really, it was frustrating because, you know, as the relationship progressed, it was just frustrating because I wasn't used to having a mom, really. And she was certainly a mother to me. Like, I was one of her children. I know that, you know. So just like with any one of those type of relationships, sometimes we, you know, would butt heads or whatever, but we still had a great relationship, and she was very much a mother to me. As much of a mother that I have known. So it's been really hard these last couple of weeks, and like really hard to grasp. But there's like comfort in knowing that she was a fantastic lady. We have wonderful memories, and so many traditions that she carried in the family that we'll be able to carry on with our kids. That's the other thing that really gets you, you know. I have 3 kids, and two of her other sons have, you know, daughters, you know, that are all, everybody's under the age of 5, you know. So it's just hard. It's just hard. I don't know what else to say without becoming a waterworks. So now that I have thoroughly been a Deborah Downer, let's get into it. Finished objects. I do have some. The first one I have is another block to that log cabin blanket. And this is now my new favorite one. And of course, I haven't woven in any of the ends again. It's going to be a heck of a time when I go to put this blanket together. But I chose to use all different shades of blues and greens. And I really like the way that it came out. And you know what, you guys, this is like you can see now what kind of green that is. And I got this is like, whoa, neon and, you know, teal and sage or whatever. And then one little strip of white because I thought it would freshen it up a bit. But yeah, like this is my new favorite square. I know every week I come on here saying, oh, this is my favorite square, this is my favorite square, but this is my new favorite square. I like the way it came out with these different shades of blue. And I think I might try it again with like shades of purple and pink or something because, or red, I don't know, purple and something else because I have lots of, whatever I have the most different assortment of shades of, I'll try in the next block. I actually have not cast on another block yet, which is a surprise because, well, it's not a surprise considering, but, you know, all things considered. But had it been, you know, a normal 3 weeks, 2-3 weeks, I definitely have more of those blocks done because I love knitting them. And then the other thing that I finished, let it whip it, baby, whip it right. Whip it all night. Was this two-tone shrug. And y'all, I finished this a while ago. I'm very proud of myself. Like it took a matter of days to finish this up, which I don't know if that's something to be proud of or something to be sad about, considering when I went to go look at my project page, because this was actually an item that I had logged. It was from, what was my notes saying? It was March 2011. March 2011, you guys. And isn't that funny that I finished it in March? I started it in March 2011 and finished it in March 2015. Oh gosh, that's so terrible. Oh goodness. Anyhow, I finished it. It was an easy knit. I feel like I shouldn't even be saying these things. It was an easy knit. The yarn feels terrific. It almost fits great. However, when I think about it, it almost fits me now. So I would have been really sad had I finished it in 2011, because it would have been really big in 2011. As it is now, I need to lose a couple pounds to fit it in 2015. Also, another thing I don't know if I'm happy or sad about. And I know what some of you guys are thinking. You're like, girl, you need to let some of these whips go. Just rip them out. But I'm just not that type of person. I'll stand by you. I'll stand by you. And I'll never desert you. Like my songs, sometimes I don't realize how poignant the words are until I'm singing them. I will never desert these whips. Even if they don't fit, even if it's a lost cause, I will not give up on them. So anyhow, that is what I finished, was that two-tone shrug, which I'm super proud of, and I'll like update the page and all that jazz and take some good photos, because that's something else that I want to work on in 2015, is getting my queue up to date. Well, not just my queue, just my whole Ravelry area. So anyhow, that is everything that has been completed. I am working on, move this out of the way. Where did I put? There it is. So I am working on, in the group, we have been doing our throwback old school sock knit along. And I have not been posting pictures to the group, but I have been knitting. Although I feel like I should be much further along than I am. I'm only on sock 1. And I'm about 2 rows away from the heel turn. And I'm doing a broken rib, I think, is what it's called. And I'm kind of using Sensational knitted socks. And I'm kind of using something else now. What is this called? Garter rib. It's just a basic garter rib, y'all. I'm sorry. I'm trying to be fancier than I actually am. Oh well. So yes, I'm using the garter rib, and I am literally like 2 rows away from doing the heel turn, heel flap. So I'm working on that. And the other thing that I was working on is I actually did a few rows. Where did I put it? Where is it? Where is it? Oh, y'all, it's downstairs, and I'm not running to go get it. Maybe I'll post a picture on Instagram. If you guys are about that Instagram live, I will post it on Instagram. But I did several rows of the peacock tam. And I switched the needles on it, and that made life so much easier. I switched to my Haya Sharps on a 40-inch, and I'm still doing magic loop, but it's just so much more peaceful and less frustrating. So I've been kind of cooking on that, and I'll post a picture on Instagram later. So those are the only 2 things that I've really been knitting on. There has not been a lot of knitting, so to speak, in the last few weeks. The couple of items that I finished and the couple of items that I showed you. So I guess I can be moving on. We can move on to forum chatter, because there is so much going on in the forum. It's super exciting. Like, the thread for our throwback old school sock knit along just makes me want to do a jig every time I see, like, there's so much going on in that thread, and I love it. And people are posting their awesome like what yarn they were going to use and what patterns they're going to use and the needles and all that jazz. And now we're far along enough for people that have finished their first sock. The work up in that thread, y'all, you better get it. You guys are killing it. I love the socks that are in that thread. Like Knit-O Photo, I want the book with the pattern Patents, however you pronounce it. I want that pattern book because that is an awesome sock that you're knitting, and I love the colors that you chose. Man, oh man, oh man. Oh, I don't know if I want to say Barbara Jones. I don't know if that's Barbara Jones. The hand spun that she posted, I was like, honey, you need to sell that. You need to go into business for yourself. Who else? Sabrab, she made, I don't know if that's right. Sabrab? Sabrab? Y'all tell me. Anyhow, she made a little meme that said, throwback old school, sock knit along or something. It was a custom meme. And so then I was like, oh, she made a custom meme? Let me see if I can make a custom meme. Let me find out. So she did that, and it's just so super exciting. So super exciting. I know that I might be like cornballing, but these things have been like nuggets of happiness in a very, I won't say a not happy place, because honestly, like, it hurts that she passed away and that she, had to go. But like I said, the service was beautiful, and all of our family and friends that were gathered, and we had, like, I don't know what they call it afterwards, where you go back to somebody's house and have a whole bunch of food, a reception. That seems kind of wrong. But, like, we were sad, but encouraged? No, not encouraged. We just know what a wonderful lady she was, and we're blessed by her legacy. And like, another corny cliche, but we really celebrated her life. We were telling stories of memories. I made a slideshow it was a gratuitous slideshow, I must admit, and you're probably going to see some photos here as well of young Nina and Kathy. But yeah, like, it sucks really bad, but it's also like I'm having a hard time coming up with the correct words. There's just so many lessons that I've learned in these last weeks. And like I said, I gave you guys a little tidbit of what my early life was like with my mom passing away. And those were things that I carried with me in the first place, like to cherish the time that you have with your family and your friends, and, never take someone for granted. But of course, as I became an adult, I think I know that I lost sight of those very simple things. And this was just a reminder, like, to really do not take the rest of my family for granted. Do not take those relationships for granted. Answer back when somebody texts you. Send an email when they send you one. Make that phone call. I mean, little things. It's the little things that add up to the big stuff. All right, back on topic. So anyhow, other stuff going on in the forum. So something else that's going on with me is that I am a part of the Cozy Crafting group. The Cozy Crafting has a what do I have here? Video podcast on YouTube. Just search Cozy Crafting. Just like moi, she has many episodes, more than I do. And she also has a group on Ravelry. And one of the things that she's doing in her group is hosting a pen pal. And so I was so lucky and thankful. I just happened to like watch an old episode like some weeks ago or whatever, and she's like, the episode had come out that day, and she was like, this is the last day to sign up, and I was like, oh, I want to be a pen pal. So I jumped on the interweb. I jumped on Ravelry and said, pick me, I want to be in a group, I want to be a pen pal. And I made it just in time. And ended up being matched up with Heart of Wool, if you didn't understand, if I didn't enunciate. Heart of Wool. And she has a podcast too, and it's awesome. So go check out also Heart of Wool. She's got a new podcast, and I think she has more episodes than me too. And she be knitting. She be knitting. She's smoking. Those needles are smoking, let me tell you. Some really cool ideas, some really cool projects. And she has like a segment that's, I forget what it's called, but it's basically like a mom talk. I don't know if I'm speaking clearly or not. I feel like sometimes I'm coming out sounding like a foreign language or something. But anyhow, she has a segment in her show, and it's labeled something like Mom Talk or... But anyhow, it's just a segment in her show where she just, she relates to us mamas, and puts it out there. And I really enjoy that segment of her show. It's something different that other people are not doing, and I enjoy it. So check her out. Whether you're a mama or not, she's interesting. And hi, Pen Pal. Hello. I'll be sending you a postcard soon. The other bit of news is that I actually, the last time I went out of town, I actually got a chance to mail everybody's packages out. So if you have not received a package that you were supposed to receive from me by now, then there's a problem. And that would be the cable book. If you didn't receive the, intro to cabling book that I said I was going to send out, if that person didn't receive that. If Knits, if you didn't receive a box from me, there's a problem. If the Wool Mize prize winner for the Turn Up for 250 didn't receive her box, which I know you did, you already told me, girl. There's a problem. So those 3 things have gone out and have had more than enough time to get to you. So if you haven't received them, shoot me a PM, catch me on Instagram, send me a message here on YouTube, something. And we'll try and figure it out so I can make sure you get your things. Something else going on in, not necessarily, well, in other forums that I'm in. I discussed briefly last time, I don't know if I was brief, but we're going to pretend like I was, that I was joining and wanted to join the blockade. I can't help it. I'm going to say it like that every single time. I was going to join the blockade knit along, and I have not started yet. I did get the yarn in with many other things. So, but I'm so glad that knit along is running from March 1st to April 15th. So I plan to finish my socks and then get on to the blockade and get to knitting that, because it's a really cool cap. And I'm pretty sure people over in that forum, they are whipping out the caps like, oh my goodness. So that's really encouraging that it might not take me very long to whip this baby up. Speaking of whipping, shall we let another item whip? I don't know if I should, because I have other things to do and I'm thinking that maybe we'll skip Let It Whip this week, because I got socks to work on. And I need to get a little bit closer to done with those before I work on any type of other miscellaneous whip. I'd like to get some more things done. I'd like to finish at least one sock and make a lot of headway on the peacock tam. So I'm going to focus on those 2 things. Oh, you guys tell me about Let It Whip. So remember last time when I did it and I just kind of did it randomly, I picked a bag and I was all like, what is this? Ooh, Tell me if you like that, if you like being as surprised as I am, or if you would like for things to be a little bit more structured and for me to have a clue and a plan. You can leave a message in below here in the comment section of YouTube, or I'll be posting this episode in the Ravelry group, and so I always post a thread with a new video. You can leave a comment there, or when I post it on my blog, you can leave a message on the blog. I'm not getting that much traffic to my blog, y'all. But I guess it doesn't really matter because I haven't really put anything besides show notes on the blog lately. Although I have a book review waiting in the queue and, some other things that I wanted to write. So maybe I'll get on that first before I encourage you guys to swing by the blog. Anyway, things that I'm here for. things that I'm here for. I had so many things that I'm here for, but I narrowed it down to one because I have so much scrumptious ads, so much treasure that I figured that I better just keep it to a minimum. So, Sock Architecture by Laura Neal. I've been referring to that book and also to my Sensational Knitted Socks book that I showed you all last episode. I think it was last episode. And those are like two of my most favorite sock resource books. Sock Architecture is my more recent purchase. And remember I was talking to you last time about how folks are just knitting socks every which way, from the middle, from the top, from the bottom. This is the book. Sock Architecture by Laura. I'm just going to cover it up there, by Laura Neal. But it's a book like this that feeds you all kinds of information, so you can knit a sock from the middle if you like. You can knit it from the top. You can knit it from the bottom. You can knit it from the side. You can knit slip stitch heel, eye of partridge heel, bullseye heel, whatever craziness. You know, I don't even know if that's one of the heels that you can knit, but it has all kinds of pictures in it of the different types of heels and the breakdowns and, you know, all that jazz, what it looks like. So it is a really cool book. I mean, like I said, that title page just had me like, oh, let me take some notes. And then you get down to like chapter 3. You know, when you're starting to first get into things or whatever. And she just starts talking about knitting a sock from the top down. That's top down socks. That's chapter 3. And like one of the first things she talks about is how it's kind of fiddly to join them around if you're using circular needles. And she just simply suggests knit flat and then join it like on the 3rd, 4th row. And then use your tail to, you know, seam up that gap. Mind blown. Mind blown. Simple little things, you know. Wealth of information. Do I say that every time I review, quote unquote, a book? Sorry, but really, it is a wealth of information. I'm not lying. So yeah, I am all the way here for Sock Architecture by Laura Neal. Cozy crafting. The first episode was a little bit rough, but it wasn't so rough that I wasn't like, this girl has something here. Yes, I will watch again. Subscribe. So I would like to encourage you guys, don't watch the first episode. Go to episode 2. And you'll be like, yes, I'm feeling her. I like it. Yes. And she has a very, she's a lot different from me. Like, I realize that sometimes, I don't think I'm over the top, but I think that I got a little energy. You know, like I'm a little like, ooh, take a breath. I think that can be me sometimes. Like, you just want me to just, okay, take some deep breaths before you get so excited. And she just has like a very calm demeanor. And I like that. Like, she is just like cool as a cucumber. She's calm. And she's just very peaceful. And I like that. She's peaceful, yet fun. And she makes these awesome project bags. And she just has like a style that's all her own. And I'm just feeling her. You guys go check her out and tell me what you think. Because, like, I'm here for her podcast. I'm here for her. I'm here for that. So go check out Cozy Crafting. As I said, I'm a part of her Ravelry group. And her Ravelry group is popping. And she's doing like the pen pal thing, which I'm loving. But let's get to what the bulk of the show besides the other stuff. Sometimes when you're feeling a little down, a little retail therapy can help you fill up. So that's what I have. Is sometimes, oh gosh, I'll start with the one that I'm sure this is a first. Kristen from Yarngasm, I ordered some some woolen vine yarn because I saw, this is when my mother-in-law first got sick and she was struggling and we thought she was going to recover. This yarn arrived, y'all, and the floodgates. I'm sure it's one of the first times someone has bawled crying over yarn. Just bawling. Okay, I'll show you. I left it up top here. This yarn, it is Stark Sock by Woolen Vine Yarns, and it's the, I don't know if you guys are going to get a good look at this. Maybe I'll try to insert a picture because I'm not sure if this is doing it any justice. It's the, I'm going to try not to cry now. It's pitiful. This is pitiful. The colorway is called Tough Chickie. And I'm sure just for little old Kristen, it was just like, Easter's coming up. I'm using Easter colors and putting a little black in it and toughening it up. But for me, like Kathy, she's totally like a girly girl. Teacup, frills, Southern Belle, you know, parasols and pinafores type of woman, you know. Really, like the first time I ever saw Molly's Teacup from Woolen Vine Yarns, I thought, oh, that would be perfect for my mother-in-law, right? So here she has this yarn that's all these kinds of very light pastels and whatnot. Also very much my mother-in-law, sort of like Molly's Teacup, right? But then I see that it has the black in it. You know, it has her colors and then it has the black in it. And then it's called Tough Chickie, and I was just thinking, you know, probably a good thing that my son interrupted, because, so anyhow, it's the pastels that are very much like Kathy, and then it had the black in it, and it had the nerve to be named Tough Chickie, and I just thought, this would be perfect to knit her socks with while she recovers. She's a tough chickie. She's coming back, you know. So yeah, it was like pretty much I couldn't even look at it for a few days. Anyway, moving on. It's a beautiful yarn. I recommend it. Let's see. I wanted to knit bloccare, but I didn't have enough of the right yarns. So of course I had to go on KnitPicks. I stay on that site. And I picked me some Wool of the Andes Sport. And I have two different paths that I can go down. And I'll post a picture of the two different paths. And maybe I'll also post it to Instagram or the forum so you guys can give me your input. But I can go down a very rich, deeply colored path, or I can and then I have all these lighter colored, and I grouped them together better in the picture as to what I might do. But I'm really not, I love all of the colors. That's why I purchased them all and figured I could figure out how I wanted to do it later. So yeah, I have My Tai Heather, Dove Heather, which is like a gray. I've got Fairy Tale, which is very magenta, very Barney and Friends. Haze Heather, lovely. What do I have here? Caution. I don't know. And now the sun is doing something different. So, Oyster Heather. Very much like a cream, just darker. Blossom Heather. Pinky. Green Tea Heather. Marina. Avocado. And white. Stark white. So that's what came from Knit Picks. And I got some needles too. Some small Caspian needles. I didn't order any extra zeros, however. Crinkling, I'm sorry, you guys. And then I was on Loop's website, because I told you guys how Sarah Stevens sent me a sock pattern a couple weeks ago. And so I was like, yes, I want to do that. I need to knit some socks. But if I want to knit socks, of course I need some Loop's yarn to knit it on. So then they had this Patrick Swayze, some Tu Long Fu basically, yarn in their shop. It's Wesley Snipes and Patrick Swayze. And this yarn is so cute, y'all. Like, if you really get a chance to see it up close, it has little brown and black Tweety flecks. I think that is some Wesley Snipes adorable. Yeah, it's a really cool yarn, and I can't wait to make it into socks. This is, like I said, Patrick Swayze and Wesley Snipes. Donegal sock. It's 438 yards, but it's it's Irish tweed and merino wool. So superwash, of course, but yeah. And then the girls over at Loop's, like, I was already crying because when I got home, I had this and Kristen's yarn, which I was not, like, I had totally forgotten about it. But the girls just included this, like, oh, and we're just going to send you a random skein of yarn to give away just because you're Nina. Essentially. I mean, I didn't even ask. They just sent it to me and said, hey, here's a skein for your giveaway. Like, isn't that just way too cool? And the color is beautiful. Like, this color is totally moi. You know? Yes, do that. So it's 2-ply high twist sock. It's 100% superwash merino, and there's 400 yards of it. And it's called, the colorway is Tiffany Locket. Yes, right? Tiffany Locket, right? So, they sent me this, and I'm gonna figure out where I'm going to give this away from. Like, am I gonna give it away from a knit along? Am I gonna give it away for, you know, reaching 500 members or 200 people in the forum? I don't know, but I will figure it out. You guys can help me. But yeah, I just thought that was so, like, beyond nice. Beyond nice. Is this that plastic? Sorry. I noticed something weird in the screen. But yeah. That's just beyond nice. Thank you, ladies. Thank you. Thank you. And that wasn't the... So I purchased a plethora of books and magazines. I've got Interweave Spring 2015. I'm not going to go through them this episode because I'd be here forever. And I've already been here long enough. I've got Interweave Crochet Spring 2015. I have got 200 Fair Isle Motifs, a Knitter's Directory by Mary Jane Mucklestone. There are some really cool motifs in here. And I just happened to be on that Google machine and came upon Etsy. Again, randomly. I almost fell out the chair. And Bags by Awesome Granny had a set of this. This is so me. Look at all those lovely colors. With the Notions bag and everything. Yes, ma'am. Yes, honey. So I ended up getting this set by Bags by Awesome Granny as well. And we're gonna say that that's it for right now. I feel like I'm forgetting something, but that's more than enough, right? Oh, I know what it was. I bought a couple of ebooks. Oh, and I also bought a Debbie Bliss magazine, which I was not pleased with. Debbie Bliss Spring Summer. So what had happened is that I was in Macon, which is where, you know, my family is, and where Kathy was and where she was buried, you know, and all that. And I ran into the Barnes and Noble for a couple magazines real quick, right? So I quickly pick up Debbie Bliss and I think the Interweave magazine that I got, you know, thinking those are good staples, you know. Those are pretty good staples. Debbie Bliss usually has something, but I failed to remember that Debbie Bliss is going through some changes. Like she's like doing her younger line with her daughter or something like that, and I mean that's fine and well and everything, but I wasn't expecting the changes to show up in the magazine, but they have, and I was not pleased. I was not impressed. I'm just saying. So I blindly picked up Debbie Bliss. Didn't even look through it because usually she is reliable. She will have all kinds of things in her magazine that I want to make, that I'm excited over, and it's like a non-issue, right? So I pick up Debbie Bliss and I pick up Interweave. Those are two that are usually you can find something you like in it, right? No surprises. And then I was like, surprise! Not hardly anything. I think there might have been one or two, maybe, in there that I liked. Now, I did read the articles. The articles were good. I liked the articles, but the patterns, not my fave. Not my fave. And it's like in the bedroom somewhere. The only reason why I remember that I had it is because I looked down at my notes here. So the Spring Summer Debbie Bliss issue 4. And then Nitpicks ebooks. I went ahead and, since I was already purchasing stuff from Nitpicks, I went ahead and purchased the ebook versions of the Fair Isles 2015 and the Accessories Collection 2015. In the cart. So yeah. Despite the sad things, there's so much in life to be happy and thankful for. Like, if anything, that is one of the many, many things that that has been reinforced. I already knew that, but it's just been reinforced in this last 3 weeks. Because yes, it's been 3 weeks that my mother-in-law got sick and passed away. Like, in the span of 3 weeks, she got sick, went into the ICU, tried to recover, did not, passed away, and we buried her. You guys have been so kind, you guys have been there for me. This has been really hard, and you guys have been there for me. I mean, that's all I can say. I want to send a special thanks to Pink Hair Girl. Gosh, okay. I want to send a special thanks to Pink Hair Girl. Thank you. I'm about to sing some Golden Girls. Thank you for being a friend. But really, thank you for being a friend. I appreciate it. I mean, just checking in, seeing how I'm doing, and, you know, offering me your experiences. It has meant so much to me. I'm going to take a break. Okay, here we go. Pink Hair Girl, thank you. It has meant so much to me. I wanted to send a special thanks to you and to Nitto Photo. I've said it before, and I'll say it again, just chatting with you on Instagram, and it's been little rays of sunshine. I know that sounds so corny, but it is what it is. Really, literally little rays of sunshine in the dark part of my days, you know, little sighs of relief, little, just little moments of relief, you know, stress relief, deep breaths. I can't even describe it. It just, thank you very much. And to Iggy Star, I mean, thank you so much. So many of you guys have sent me personal messages and just said so many kind words. Just tell me that my family was in your prayers and to keep my head up. And, you know, just to take things one day at a time and just offering me your experiences. It's like being real people, human beings with real experiences, and just holding me up and being a friend. Like, I appreciate all of you and thank all of you so much. People who have left me comments in the thread where I told you what was going on, and like, you guys didn't have to do that. You don't have to care. You don't have to, you know, comment. You don't have to ask about me or my family or how she was doing. You didn't have to do any of that. And I wouldn't have like thought any less of any of you guys for like, I don't think any less of any of you guys. If any, it's just that I think even more of all of you guys. It's like sprinkles on top of the icing, you know? You know how kids act when they see sprinkles? That's what it's like, you know? Like, icing is good, but those extra sprinkles just send you over the edge. At least my kids, they lose their mind over the extra sprinkles. So, anyway. Something else cool is that I heard that I got a shout out on the Hollywood Knitter, which I did listen to one episode, and I want to listen to more because it was like over before, like I was super into it, and I was just like, oh no, it's already done. So I can definitely see myself binge listening to several of the episodes, all of the episodes. AKA. So thanks for shouting me out. I didn't listen to the one where you shouted me out on, but someone on Instagram said that you did, and I wanted to say thank you. They didn't shout me out, but I tell you what, I watched Come Knit With Us. They do their podcast most of the time in their local yarn shop, and it is a riot. You have to check them out. If you're not already watching them, you should be watching them because they're not, unless you get frustrated when people don't talk about knitting on a knitting podcast, which I can't imagine that would be because you watch me, don't you? Anyway. So yeah. Both of the ladies' names that are the regular hosts of that show are escaping me at this point, but I watch them all the time. My bad. I'm so sorry. But those ladies are a trip. I didn't write down which episode it was, but it had to, if they did one every week, then this one had to be like 2 or 3 weeks ago. And those ladies, they hardly talk about knitting at all. They're knitters, but they hardly talk about knitting at all. But they keep me in stitches laughing. And that particular day, I really needed a good laugh. And they were talking like, they did their, I don't know if it was like what they were working on that they do show girls for, or if it's like finished objects. But honey, they brought out the boas and were singing showgirls, sexy, sexy showgirls. And like, I just needed some silliness, you know? I needed some silliness. And then they were talking about charity knitting, and they're knitting boobs, you know, like, I don't know if it's prosthetic. No, because they're not. But they're knitting boobs for charity. And I about fell out when, I don't even know which one said, them titties dough. She literally said, them titties though. And I about fell out my seat. It's like, ladies are too much. But I tell you what, I want to knit some boobies and give them to charity now. I probably will. But yeah, it was just thank you to all of them. Whether you gave me a shout out or not, you guys have like been such bright spots in these last weeks, you know, whether you had got me to laugh or just had me interested in something, if you just took my mind off of things, I appreciate it. And the same thing goes for the ladies at O Loops who just I didn't even have to ask. They just said, you know what? I know you. Here's some yarn for your podcast, you know? Thanks for shopping with us. Like, yeah, didn't even have to ask. That was just so like, amazing. You know, like I said, friends who just sent me messages. Thank you. Thank you so much. I truly, truly appreciate you. This, like, I keep saying it every episode, but really, it speaks to me. It speaks to my heart that I'm 6 episodes in, and, like, you guys are my friends, you know? So, anyway, I'm going to stop being mushy. Hopefully next week I can come back and be a little bit more upbeat. But yeah, I'll see you guys next week.